Hi, I'm Hal Wu. I'm an engineer on the design team here at Burris Optics. And today we're going to walk you through from start to finish how to set up and sight in an Oracle 2. The most important things in your box are the Oracle bow sight, its laser pointer. We've got a piece of Velcro for mounting your PTT cable, and we include a couple screws for mounting the bow sight to your bow riser and an Allen wrench. We also include a sight-in target for your laser rangefinder. The first thing you're going to do with your Oracle 2 is get it mounted to your bow riser. This is similar to just about every other type of bow sight that's out there on the market today. We include a couple screws and an Allen wrench. We use these two flathead 1024 screws, mount them in any of these three positions on the mounting arm. You can see that we've got two different sets of heights depending on where your point of aim is for your 20-yard pin. If you need it lower, you can set it into these higher holes, or if you need the sight to ride a little bit higher on your riser, you can install it in either the furthest most to the back or the forward mounting holes. In general, the best fitment that we find is going to be in the two center screws. Also in the box is going to be the optional auxiliary peep assembly. If you're mounting this to your bow, you're going to want to make sure that you sandwich the mount for the aux peep in between your riser and the bow sight. When inserting the auxiliary peep assembly, we want to make sure that the wing nut is on the outside and that the gold nut is on the inside or the side that's facing your arrow shelf. When you're mounting your PTT button, you're going to want to make sure that you use the included Velcro, and you're going to want to position the PTT button wherever it's most comfortable for you when you're at full draw to make sure that you can click the button and actuate the sight. For me, it's my index finger on my left hand mounted at this top location. Some users can mount it low, use their pinky finger. Other users have mounted it on either side of the handle. It's really up to the user. Additionally, you're going to want to fix your PTT cable to your riser in some way. I chose to use zip ties here on my personal bow. Other users have used some electrical tape. Other guys have just routed it through the various holes and cutouts on the riser to make sure that it doesn't get snagged on any limbs. As with Oracle 1, we included a cord wrap that you can wrap the cord up into to take out the slack in the line. And then once you're done, you just snap that back down. And the next step in getting your Oracle 2 set up is to begin the sight-in process. We'll start with the 20-yard pin. You'll find that this is very similar to just about any other bow sight that you've used in the past. We have a micro adjust system on the Oracle 2. It's very similar to what we had on the Oracle 1 to try to make that process a little bit easier. You'll see on the mounting arm, we have some laser marks. These laser marks are roughly an inch of travel at 20 yards. You can see from those two shots I was a little bit high, so I need to bring the entire sight housing up to align with the arrows. And you can do that by loosening this locking knob and then coming and using your micro adjust mechanism to bring the sight housing up to meet the arrows. And we're about 2 inches high, so I'll come up about 2 lines. All right, at this point in time, we've sighted in our 20-yard pin, and now we're going to want to align our laser rangefinder module to our 20-yard pin line of sight. In order to do that, we're going to use this target right here. As you can see, we've got 3 aiming rings. The center aiming ring is for your 20-yard pin. You'll put your 20-yard pin right in the center of this. And then, since I'm a right-handed shooter, I'm going to use this right-handed red circle here. Ideally, that is where the laser range finder will be pointed, and I'll be able to tell it's pointed there with this laser pointer that's installed. And we're going to align the laser pointer to the center of this red circle. Now, if you're left-handed, you'll aim here, but you'll use this left-handed circle. So we'll start this process at 10 yards from this target, and then we'll step back to 20 and confirm that our alignment's still good. Okay, so we've stepped back to about 10 yards from the target, and right now I'm going to go to full draw, and I'm going to aim with my string peep and my 20-yard pin at the center circle on that target. And we're going to see where the laser pointer on the laser rangefinder is pointed. So we'll come to full draw, and then we'll turn the sight on by pushing the PTT button, and then we'll see where the laser pointer is. And you can see when I aim at that circle, it's in the top right corner of that target. Okay, so we could see that the laser pointer was hitting the top right corner of this target, and we want to get it down inside this red circle here. So it's about 3 inches or so to the right, and it's about 5 inches high. So we can adjust for that on the bow sight using these clickers. Each one of these clicks is about 1/4 inch at 10 yards. So we're going to want to come down a little over a turn here, and then the laser was a little bit right, so we're going to want to come left. Okay, let's see where we're at. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to take a step back to 20 yards and see how close we are there and make a final adjustment if needed. All right, so we've stepped back to 20 yards, and now we're going to confirm that laser is aligned. All right, I'd say minus all the wrist torque, I think it looked pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and leave it here. Now that we've aligned our laser rangefinder to our 20-yard pin, we've ensured that when we are at full draw, the 20-yard pin is what is being ranged with our laser rangefinder. Now we're going to begin the truing process, which is calibrating the Oracle 2 to learn the ballistic trajectory of your arrow. The first step is going to be making sure that your sight is turned on by pushing the PTT button. You can see that you got a range there, so the sight is on. Then you're going to want to hold down the M button for menu for 2 seconds. And we get the first readout that we get here is AS1, that's arrow selection 1. We've got 2 arrow selections, 2 arrow profiles that can be stored into an Oracle 2. We're going to go ahead and go with AS1 today, and then we'll hit the S button for select. And then the sight asks us for an SR1, or select range 1. Select range 1 can be at any yardage, 30 yards or beyond. We happen to be at about 35 yards, and that's going to be good enough for this first calibration point. You'll see that the Oracle 2 gives us a recommended dot that's based on a standard ballistic profile for a 70-pound bow. And that's what we'll use to aim our arrow at the target. I'll rearrange the bag. It is 35 yards. Take aim with the suggested pin. Fire another shot out there just to confirm. All right, you can see that I've got 3 arrows here. The average of the group looks like the elevation is pretty close to 0. It looks like my windage might just be off a little bit. One important thing to note here is that the blinking dot is the original point of aim, and the steady dot or solid dot is going to be your new or manually overridden aiming point that's chasing your group of arrows. Okay, so like I said, I'm happy where my group of arrows is. So I'm going to keep my aiming dot at the recommended point. So I'm going to make sure that nothing is blinking and it's just a solid light. And then I'll hit the select or save button here. So now the sight is indicating SR2 or select range 2. Select range 2 is going to have to be 10 yards beyond our SR1 point. If you can recall, our SR1 point was 35 yards. So we need to take a step back to at least 45 yards. Okay, so now we're ready to set up our SR2 or select range 2 point. We're taking quite a bit of a step back here. We'll range the target full draw just to confirm the distance. And you can see we're at 44 yards, so we're not quite back far enough, so we'll need to take a step back. We were a little bit too close to the target. The sight indicated that to us by giving us a DST or distance error, and it actually told us that we were 44 yards away. We needed to be at least 45 yards, so we've taken a few steps back and we're going to try it again. So when I arranged the bag at full draw, it gave me an aiming point and a distance. It said 49 yards. And I used the aiming point that it gave to aim the bow sight at the bag. I'm about to shoot a second, possibly a third arrow to ensure a good group. As you can see, we're aiming at the center of the bag. We're just a little bit low. So I'm actually going to drop the sight down by a couple dots using that down arrow. I'm going to 1, 2 clicks. Now I'm going to take these arrows out and take another few shots of that same distance. All right, so after making that adjustment and dropping it down a couple dots, we took a couple more shots, and now you can see that we're a lot closer to the bullseye. Adjusting it anymore at this point in time is not going to capture that small amount of deviation to the bullseye, so we're just going to save it here. So we've confirmed our group at 49 yards. It was good with the new aiming dot. As you can see here, we've got the solid dot, that's our new aiming point, versus the old dot, which was flashing. So we're going to go ahead and store this data point into the sight by clicking the S button. Now you'll see that the Oracle 2 is prompting us with something that's a little bit different from Oracle 1. We're actually getting an SR3 or Select Range 3, and we do give you the option of having an SR3 and SR4 with Oracle 2. This gives an advantage to the longer range shooters or for shooters that want a more precise curve fit by giving them 2 more points to set on the ballistic trajectory. It's important to point out that this is completely optional. At this point in time, you can push the S button and it will take you out of the truing routine, and it will be a similar experience to the Oracle 1. If you'd like to continue, you can continue ranging at SR3 and SR4. The key points to remember here is that you need to be at least 10 yards beyond your previous point. So our SR2 was at 49 yards, our SR3 has to be at least at 59 yards, and the SR4 would at least have to be at 69 if we chose to shoot at 59. As you can see, it was a pretty simple process. It took about 15 minutes. We did it as the sun was going down. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section below. You can go to the link in the description. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe.